Hey y'all, it's Stephen Van Kampen-Lewis on June 26th, and here in Texas, as you can imagine, it's really hot. It is consistently above 100 degrees for the past month, so it's even hotter now this year than it is typically in summer. And that's because there's a pretty strong La Nina coming through, which prevented our springtime rains, which means that we heat up faster. But luckily I grow lots of plants that really love these temperatures. And so what I want to do today is give you another quick Catasetum update for my collection. They're growing really well. I've got a couple spikes. I've got some spent spikes. I've got some new spikes. I've got a bunch of great new growth coming in. And so I'm just going to do a quick tour. In fact, what I want to do is walk around my balcony and show you what it looks like from the outside looking in. And to be honest, I haven't really done that, so I'm kind of curious to see what it looks like, or to see the view that my neighbors have. So let's do that, and then turn the camera around and take a look. So this is what my neighbors see each day. I always kind of wonder what they think of this. But as you can see, I have the Certipodiums growing here, all the sun lovers with no shade. So this faces southeast, so these guys get hit with really strong light, and they love it. We've got some Sarracenia down here, and then these are my Catasetums here. What's really interesting is you can see the ones in the back get shade cloth, and that's actually stronger shade cloth than I would prefer. It's about 60%. But the leaves up front here, these ones here, they're getting zero shade cloth benefit whatsoever. So I'm kind of wondering if I even need a shade cloth for the Catasetums right now. In fact, you can see my Catasetum Tenebrosum. There's the name there. Is putting out its usual spike, which is normal for this time of year, and you can see that there's some of the smaller plants might be a little crowded and might be a little shady, but ultimately everything looks really good. Even the ones that are under the shade cloth look good. The ones that are out front without the benefit of the shade cloth look good. I would say the only one that's not looking great is the Spitzii, and I think that one just might just be toast. Yeah, you can see that's rotting. I don't really know what happened there, but everything else looks pretty good. So hopefully your Catasetums are also looking equally good. In fact, what I'll do is I'll get a look at the plants and pick some up, so you can see a few plants up close and personally. You can see a blooming Cattleya harrisoniana back there, and Varsavixii buds, Cattleya Varsavixii buds just starting to open up here, so that's going to be really cool. I look forward to showing you all that. That's a one from SVO with Bedford in the background. But let's get back to the other side so we don't just look at a jumble of leaves there that don't really have much to look at. All right, so I pulled a few of these more interesting plants over, and I wanted to show them to you. In fact, I think these are the same ones that I showed earlier in the year. Let's start off with this one. This one is a Catacetum Tenebrosum, and it is the one where the growth rotted and then a new growth is being sent up, but the roots from this growth here that rotted off for unknown reasons continue to grow. So you can see that this is getting watered as normally, and this will continue to get watered as normally for the rest of the year. And you can see that these bulbs are just totally rock solid. So those new roots are really doing their job and are absorbing water nicely. So if you lose a growth early on and then you get another one popping back in, I don't change things up. I don't let it go dry again, especially this time of year. I just keep watering as normal, and that typically works out pretty well. This is a Mormides that I got from Sunset Valley about a year ago. So this is going to be a nice, really cool orange one. I noticed this one is a little shaded underneath some of the larger plants, so I'm gonna move this one into a brighter location and see if it picks up speed in terms of growth. And you can see it's kind of growing sideways. It's probably reaching for light here. So let's see if we can get this guy in a brighter spot without burning it and have it grow a little faster. You can see the roots are doing pretty well, pretty nicely on this one though. They're down there in that water well. This is that Cycniches cooperi that had the growth at the awkward parts of last year's cane. So you can see, the old bulbs are still looking good because these new roots are growing well into the water well. They've extended way down here, and these new growths, while oddly placed on the bulb, are growing nicely. And so I'm hoping to get two nice blooms out of this one this fall. So I'm pretty excited for this one. And while it is awkwardly placed in terms of how I potted it and how the new growths are attached here and this old growth hanging off the back, I think the plant will be just fine. In fact, over here underneath the lights, I have this import Heron husainum, Cycniches Heron husainum, that had a similar thing happen, and it's also growing pretty nicely. So you just lay the bulb sideways, attach it really tightly, and just grow it as normal, and the roots will extend down into the media, and you'll get a normal sized plant. And finally, we have this one. This is Catasetum Darkness. This is one I showed you earlier that I thought was matagrosense, but this is actually behind the matagrosense, and it's just got a spike that's crazy long. As you can see here, it's got one spike here, and then another younger spike growing here. These back bulbs are a little more shriveled than I would have expected for this time of year, so I'm going to have to focus sending the water into this pot. But the new growth is looking fine. I suspect that as I'm hitting this one with my watering can, it might not be getting in there, getting enough water in there, or at least the way that I would have hoped. It could also be the plant is just using a lot of water right now due to the heat, the new growth coming in, and these two spikes. So anyway, something for me to focus on, and that's it. Hopefully your Catasetums are all looking pretty good with lots of leaves and spikes and tons of new roots and new growth. I will see you guys next weekend. Bye.